Well, hey folks, it's your old pal King Waspinator. Welcome back to Total Party Skills, and welcome to what is to be my new office. We'll see. Now, I've been slacking the last couple weeks while I've been busting ass here on this little 3.5 acre plot of land I bought with my wife. I've not been making YouTube videos telling you about how horribly woke everything is and or how great the OSR is, or whatever the subject that you want confirmed the most. But don't worry, I got a few days off while the wife is back in Austin coordinating with some movers with really not much to do. And I've discovered, somewhat to my surprise, upon actually looking at my YouTube page for the first time in weeks, that my subscribers have gone up, and I'm now officially in the big leagues. 501 subscribers, kneel before Zod, kind of stuff. But you know what to do with it. I'm a little burned out on a lot of the subjects. I don't want to just keep making videos about my own books because, you know, like no one's really signed up for that. You know, sprinkle it in every once in a while that you can find Total Party Skills products on Amazon and or Drive-Thru RPG as PDFs. But, I mean, I don't know. Certain other channels are just kind of making it feel a little uncool to be talking so much about Palladium games now, and I'm certainly bored to death with Dungeons and Dragons and all its little shadows that are nipping at its heels, trying to somehow be different while still being the exact same thing anyway. And then like a miracle last night, it fell from the sky. Something new, something wonderful, something that will get me those delicious views that I so crave and need for self-validation. And that, of course, is the Goblin Slayer tabletop role-playing game. Look at it. Just look at it. Oh my God, it's juicy. It's a thick boy with 2 C's. It appears, upon a cursory overnight read-through, to have all the components one needs for a role-playing game. I mean, quite thoroughly. It's got an amazing price point. Aside from the fact that I have not yet had a chance to really sit down and see whether or not the rules are any good, so far I am way more impressed than I would have expected for something that cost as little as this cost, based on the Goblin Slayer cartoon and manga. Now, I'm only familiar with the Goblin Slayer animated series. I haven't watched the little movie they put out, and I have not read any of the comics. So in many ways, this is probably my first steps into a more deeper understanding of the four-cornered world in which Goblin Slayer takes place. I like that it's basically just presents itself as an open-ended generic role-playing game. It doesn't, you know, give you all the characters from the show and just kind of make it so you can play them. Although you can certainly easily recreate them, and it has all the stuff about the Adventurers League. I spent most of my initial read-through just kind of getting an idea of what the contents are, and then read a good chunk of the world section for, you know, what the setting actually is. Some stuff. They have a lot of different gods, and there's a lot of juiciness in here to be mined. And I'm going to mine it, and you're going to watch like the naughty little boys that you are. So, but like I said, until I can make a judgment about whether or not it actually has a functional rule system, my final opinion is withheld. But for a first impression, this is way better than it has any right to be. This could have been just an easy throwaway, you know, D20 licensed kind of product. In fact, you could real easily have already been making Goblin Slayer role-playing games using any OSR or D&D rule set. But it actually has the stamp of approval, and it doesn't waste your time. It's newsprint, it's full of text, it has very little in the way of art. It doesn't do that thing like modern Wizards of the Coast products where it's selling you a big thick book that is mostly margin space and very little in the way of information. Creature sections, magic spells, weapons, equipment, everything. It seems to actually be a complete role-playing game all in one book. Even has a couple adventures written in there. It's and kind of in the same way that manga has been kind of shaming the American comic book industry. If they start doing more things like this, they could really put the American role-playing game industry to shame too. So like I said, I'm going to dig into it. I'm going to, I guess, string out some videos in the days and weeks to come to explore what is in here further and help you decide if you want to get it. But really, though, for the price point, I picked it up on Amazon. It's pretty cheap. And like I said, I was expecting something like maybe a third the size that was largely just filled with filler of, pics, from comic books or, animation cells from the show or something like that. And that's not what it is. It's trying really hard to actually be a legit role-playing game, like the old way, like when everything was in the initial book, and I quite admire that. So check it out and all that good stuff. And until next time, go fuck yourself and subscribe and other things. Bye.